One of my favorite genres of all time is science fiction. Getting pulled into another world with rules similar but different from ours is not only captivating, but makes you think about how science can tangibly affect the world that we live in. From epics that take you to the depths of space, to stories that make you ponder what it means to be human, there is no shortage of a good science fiction story. However, not all science fiction is created equal. There are stories that, for lack of better terms, kinda suck. Stories that don't understand science fiction and ultimately fall flat because they are told through a mismatched lens. And today, I want to talk about the most interesting concepts in science fiction, and the concepts that should never be done again. And to start off, we're going to talk about the multiverse. And to be honest, I can talk about the multiverse forever. I mean, that's kind of the point of the multiverse. Endless possibilities, trillions of ways that any event can unfold. I think the reason so many multiverse stories fall flat is because they don't understand what it means to play a role in the multiverse. When you look at your life, the choices that you make every day, and consider that a single event, a single action, a single thought could change everything, you'll then understand what it truly means to be a part of a multiverse. It's the road not taken, the paths unwalked, the worlds unexplored, and the decisions that truly mattered. Good multiverse stories all have one thing in common. The main character, protagonist, or the world must decide who they want to be. Let's take a look at one of the newest and personally one of my favorite multiverse stories, Dark Matter. I'll try to avoid spoilers for those who haven't watched, but the story follows Jason as he gets trapped in the multiverse. We soon learn that every decision that he makes creates a new version of himself near the end, and by the end of the season, we realize the true power of his decisions and how they shape the person he becomes. What made this such a good story to me was that we were following one character throughout the entire story, but near the end, we realized that this was only one version of the person that he could have become. This is a good multiverse story. On the other hand, we have stories like Multiverse of Madness and The Flash, which completely miss the point of the multiverse and what it's supposed to represent. These films focus on adding characters that do little to further the growth of the main character. When your character doesn't grow, or when you don't explore what your character could have become, you failed at telling a multiverse story. There's no need to see evil versions of these characters. We want to see the same character, but a character that's made different decisions. Now, let's look beyond Earth and explore the possibilities of our universe. What makes a good space story? The concept of exploring space may seem daunting, but at its core, any space story is the same: exploration. A good space story is the natural progression of finding a new land, the rise and falls of empires, politics, new cultures, and strange environments. Take a movie like Dune. Dune is not the story of a hero exploring the land that he finds himself in. It's about living in and reacting to his environment. The powers of the world are directly linked to the resources provided by an individual planet. Factions are created based on the land held by these groups, and their goal is to gain more power, more resources, more land, more control. We can also look at shows like The Foundation or the beginning of Star Wars. The Foundation is about how the powers of the galaxy shift over time and how those in power try to hold onto it for as long as possible. And just a tad bit of space terrorism. And you know what? That kind of sounds like Star Wars, which at its core was about the Empire versus the Republic, the Jedi versus the Sith. Before the series got bogged down with frankly bad plot decisions, it was a story about knights keeping order in a democracy while scheming Siths planned to take control over the universe. And honestly, true Star Wars fans know that the Siths weren't even really that bad. They just kind of outplayed the Jedis politically, which is really due to the Jedi negligence, but we're not even going to get into all that. But now we see that in the medium of space travel, a lack of sound or logical governing systems is really what makes the system fall apart in a space story. We need to understand what powers are in play, who has control, what their resources are, and what they plan to do with their newfound system. Now, let's talk about the apocalypse, one of the most gripping and dramatic concepts in fiction. The thought of the world ending, society collapsing, and the survivors trying to rebuild or merely stay alive. Apocalypse stories shows us how fragile civilization really is and the depths of human resilience. Well, that's when done right. When done wrong, they kind of feel shallow, unrealistic, and frankly, you just want the characters to die in the apocalypse. Great example of an apocalypse story done right is Fallout. The Fallout series doesn't just show us a post-nuclear wasteland, it explores how human nature adapts, or, fails to adapt when society collapses. The world building is incredibly detailed, from the devastated landscapes to the strange mutated creatures that roam the earth. What's really important in this story is that we see the pieces of the earth trying to be picked back up again. Whether it's the remnants of the US government clinging to its order, or the raiders that try to thrive in the chaos. Each group is a reflection of how humanity could respond to the end of the world. It's not just about survival, it's about the choices humans make when the rules change. And frankly, in Apocalypse, the rules change. So there you have it. A good apocalypse story makes us think about the fragility of society, the endurance of humanity, and the choices that people make when everything falls apart. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed what you saw, hit the subscribe. See you guys.